Welcome to Developing Me, We, and You, where real people, real projects, and real change come together. Today we have real estate developer, real estate investor, no other than Mr. UEG himself, Larry Wilson. Hi, Larry.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
To see you again.
Good to see you always.
Always a pleasure.
Always,
for sure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by.
It's
This means a lot.
I appreciate it. It means a lot to me as well.
Yeah.
It's an honor, for sure, 100%.
To get to share your story, get to hear more about your story, how you got started, what inspired you, all the things. I know Ultra Elite Group, right? I know UEG.
Right. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm here to be able to be of assistance and whatever I can help with. Let me know, and again, with my story, like it's ever evolving, and so
always.
There's still some stuff we need to add on the back end.
So I'm gonna jump right in.
Okay.
What inspired you to get into real estate development?
Craziest thing when I was young, Monopoly, right? So think about Monopoly. We played Monopoly every Saturday, and I remember I was always ultra competitive, and so the green houses, the four of them, collecting those four houses, and buying or changing those in for the red hotel. I knew the person with the red hotel would probably win the game, and I wanted to always win the game, and so even back then I understood the concept.
I hear people talk about Monopoly now, and it's like now that we are older and real estate is it's a thing, right? It's not a trend because it's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's like maybe I should go back and play real estate. Play Monopoly.
well, but you also you have wise counsel as well. There's a lot of people around you. So I don't know if you have to go back unless you just want to,
right?
Because you have a wealth of people around you in your space. So
that's true.
I think you'll be all right.
That's true. So how did you get into real estate? Like, what was the first thing that you did?
I always wanted to buy houses. I started buying houses in 2005. And I bought them, and I didn't know what I was doing. But we still kept buying, right? And we started trying to fix up ourselves. And 2009, 10, we had about 4 houses in our portfolio. Again, none of them really cash flow positive. But I knew my ultimate goal was to have them cash flow positive. And so sold those properties, wanted to reset. Because at that point, you had the tax implications and all of that, and they were just sitting. So somebody came and offered me some money, and that's how I sold them. But it was always a void. 2015, I went to the surplus sale, and I bought a property on Central Avenue, and it was the biggest.
Was it the old Central or the new Central? Oh,
the old
goodness.
Central. Yes,
okay.
It was 4,000 square feet, open to the elements for like the last 10 years, and I bought this property. And I said, if I buy the property, I will finish it. And so we went in there, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I finished that property. And ever since then, it was like, okay, we up and running. If I could finish that house with the limited knowledge that I had, I'm very learned. So as I'm inside, I'll pick up what I need to learn. When we came out, I was like, okay, we're out to the races.
So UEG is all things real estate. Tell us what is under you. What does that mean? Okay,
so we have the development company where we develop our own projects, and then we also work with partnerships with the CDCs, a few CDCs, and some other investors. So we do that. We have property management. So we manage our properties, and then we also manage properties of investors. And then we have the brokers, real estate brokers. And so we have realtors, 2 realtors on the team right now, some amazing individuals. And then also just having the knowledge of understanding of if I need to I partner with a lot of different people. So like when it comes to development, like I have an architect that's on site. We have a real estate attorney that's on site for questions, and not just for myself, but if somebody wanted an answer to a question, I could have that readily available really soon. So all things real estate just meaning I'm invested in real estate. That's all that means. I'm fully 100% invested in real estate.
Wonderful. Having a team, that's so important. I know that community is important to you. Having the different players and being like networking, that's how important is that? for you as a person?
It's
in
everything.
business? Okay.
It's everything. Well, because I noticed the further I've gotten, there's a quote, and I think it's an African proverb.
Mm-hmm.
You can go far by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but and I'll change it a little bit because I
Yeah.
forgot the last part. But you can go miles with team, and I really fully believe that. It's just like a journey. Like you always hear me say, we're walking together home on this journey. And to me, I'm limited in my knowledge, but if my collective has the information that I don't have collectively, we have all information that we need, or we can find it. And so, to me, it's just always been one of those huge, important things, having people and having the right teammates around me.
How do you determine, like, if this makes sense for your portfolio, and, community? How do you balance the two?
Well, there was another question I answered that I was asked a couple days ago. It was like profitability and or community, and I think those two things can still run parallel lines, as long as of course, we have to stay in business, right? But then also being intentional about community, and if there's a contract that's sitting on the table that I normally wouldn't touch if it's in community, and I know the partners. And we have a great relationship. I definitely want to take that on because it is all about relationships and being intentional and making sure that I'm aligned with my purpose. And I do, and honestly, like the communities that I work in, I have family that lives in those communities.
Man.
So, and I've seen those communities go from this to that, right? Like overnight almost. We got some great partners in these communities right now. It's doing amazing things. So I want to be a part of that.
This episode is brought to you by Edna Martin CBDO LLC, powered by Edna Martin Christian Center's Homes Program, helping families in Martindale Brightwood secure housing, build wealth, and grow strong communities. From home ownership training and down payment assistance to maintenance education and estate planning, Homes is your one-stop hub for sustainable living and generational success. Ready to own your future? Contact Emmanuel Ivy at iivy@ednamartincc.org and take the first step toward your new beginning. Edna Martin CBDO LLC, building homes, creating opportunities, and changing lives. Legacy. I think you had legacy on your hat, right? What does legacy mean to you? Like,
legacy is all encompassing. For me, my legacy that I want to pass on is to inspire. I come from very humble beginnings, and I was always a dreamer, and I still am. And so with my kids, I want to make sure that they see that if I can do it, they can do it 20 times better. And I always give them ammunition to always, trump whatever I've done. And so with me in the community, with me and my people, with me and my team, it's still, I want to inspire. I want my legacy to be that I inspired you to move further than you were today. For sure.
I think we have this favorite, and I won't say favorite, but we have this quote, this love in mind. The highest human act is to inspire. Do you know who that's from?
I want to say either 19 or Eric Thomas.
It's Nip. It's Nip.
Is it Nip?
Yeah.
Is it Nip? Okay. It's same line. They said they run parallel lines. So okay.
What was your first? Can you kind of walk through the process of your different types of properties? At first, I know you said you sold the first one. So then what happened? So
to be fair, like the reason why I initially I was intentional about buying my very first property was I had an uncle that had some unfortunate circumstances, and I wanted to make sure that I took care of like his needs, and so I ended up buying that property. And he passed away. We sold that property, but wanted to still get it. And that property had a lot of issues, and I didn't know any of them. It had foundation issues. I didn't know any of those things until I got into it. I am one of those people that sometimes like the problem is just waiting for a solution, and sometimes you welcome it, sometimes it's a bigger challenge, but all problems have solutions to them, and so we just kept going. And we just kept building. Okay. So can I ask how many doors there are now? There's so with me and doors, the door part is not important. I was talking to a banker recently, and we had the same conversation. The number of doors, I lost count on purpose, and people don't understand why I say it. So I'm about to explain this.
Okay.
This is an exclusive.
Okay.
So the amount of doors don't matter, or doesn't matter. The number of residual income that I have coming in every month. That's the only number that matters to me. And so if I had one door and it was bringing me an amount of residual incomes that I can sleep at night,
yeah,
I only have one door. Or if that number is 10 or 20 or whatever. But again, my only focus is making sure that I continuously increase my residual income. And so that's really, I'm able to sleep at night knowing that no matter if I go to work tomorrow, that number is still there. So
cool. And so doors, we know we got rentals. We have you flip properties.
I do.
You've done new construction.
I've done new construction. I've done rehab. I've done multifamily.
Right.
I've done commercial.
Okay.
I've done everything. I'm actually about to build a lady chicken coop. Yeah, it's random, but it's funny because the lady just called me last night, and I was like, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so we even building chicken coops. So if y'all need a chicken coop,
right? If you need what about she sheds? You doing she sheds too?
Listen. The right opportunity,
right.
we pull up.
Okay. So really, all things real estate.
All things real estate. I really meant that.
Yeah.
I said,
and you got the full team.
Yeah, I have an abundance of beautiful, like-minded people on the squad. Yes, and we're still building.
Still building.
Yes.
What was a moment of personal growth that shaped your development journey?
The house that I bought on Central.
Okay.
That property, I should not have come out of that. Actually, one of my friends called it a lion's den, and I had 1 million failures in there, right? And some people have one failure and they stop and they quit, but I just kept failing forward. And I got to a point, there was this mountain. I was in Hawaii because this house forced me to board it up for a while because I had to reset. I was in over my head, and I remember being in Hawaii, and I was on top of a mountain looking down on the clouds. I was at the really low point in my life, and I just found clarity on top of that mountain. So by the time I made it down, I just started making phone calls, and one thing led to another, and it just kept showing me it was like the fortitude, making sure you have fortitude, and no matter what, challenges they're going to rise, but just making sure you know how to navigate through them and continue to move, create motion. Actually, just started a company called Create Motion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just 1 foot. Just all you need to do is move.
There's so many. I feel like we can go forever and ever. Larry, you are one of my favorite people.
Yeah, that's an honor.
Yes.
Make sure I stay on that plateau. Yeah, no, seriously. I was just telling somebody, either you're going up the hill or you're coming down, and I think the speed in which you come down, I think that's more important. So if you go up at a steady pace, you'll come down at a steady pace. And so I want to make sure I'm coming down steady so I can see and pay attention, because when I was going up, I never took the time to look around and see the beautiful roses. There's my favorite book. Santiago. He was walking through the palace, and he had the drops of oil on the spoon, and he walked through and he kept his eyes on the spoon, but he didn't get a chance to look at and get the chance to witness all the beautiful things that was inside the palace. So the next time he went in, right, he walked in and he walked and looked at all the beautiful things in the palace, but he dropped the oil on the spoon. And so I think what that told me was just make sure I find balance, right? Like, yes, always remind yourself that you have the drops of oil on the spoon, but also remind yourself to look around you sometimes and look up.
Yeah. And look up. Mr. UEG, how do people get in touch with you? Or if they have a project in mind, they need a remodel.
I am on LinkedIn.
Okay, welcome.
Welcome
I
just
to
really
LinkedIn.
did it. So recently, I started these partnerships, but before these partnerships, it was me doing my own thing, and so I didn't understand the importance of it. I understand the importance of it now because we're doing a lot of networking. So LinkedIn, Ultra Elite Group on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
And then the website is www.ultraelitegroup.com. That's how you can find me.
Ultra Elite Group. Larry, thank you
I
so much.
appreciate this. It's an honor.
We're going to do this again.
Definitely, 100%.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Remember, build something bigger than yourself. When we build together, we grow together.